anyhow, I spent 6.5 weeks in jail, all right, and it sure as hell wasn't the lowest priority then, you know, but they didn't care that I was diabetic, they didn't care about me missing any of my mental health or physical.
So they denied you your medication?
Yeah, well, they didn't deny it to me, but they just kept fucking up. They kept screwing up every time. They just kept messing up with my medication.
And this was for your insulin, not for your medical cannabis. For your insulin.
And then they said that they don't prescribe cannabis in the jails at all in any form or something like that. But anyhow...
even if it's medically necessary.
Right.
But that's not true, because we talked to Sheriff Hennessy, and he was fine with it.
Yeah, well...
And I have stacks of grievances at home still that I never got responses to from the Sheriff's Department. So talk about, you know, revising OCC, you know, the Sheriff's Department, they just need a public agency or private citizens to come in and watch over them, because they just, you know, because if you can't write a grievance about a man who you're going to hand it to is his buddy. You know, they all look out for each other. You know. Well,
you know, I mean, luckily we do have a sheriff who I think is pretty responsive to those things. So you should definitely talk to Sheriff Hennessy. He's actually my next door neighbor, and he's a really good guy.
The other thing is, don't the feds have a entrapment law? Isn't there a federal entrapment law? I mean,
the thing about, I think that the concept exists in federal law. You know, the thing about the feds, and I think you kind of see this, is that, you know, they know every trick in the book. Right. You know, and I think that the best possible scenario for us is to insulate ourselves from the federal government, to really keep them out of San Francisco. My God, you know, our representative in Congress is the Speaker of the House, you know, third in line to the presidency. Why isn't she doing something, you know, to respect local control? I mean, the Republicans, if they really want to be consistent, they should respect that concept, that principle. So I think that we need to do everything we can to use our local resources. And, you know, I work for the schools, and I actually have to run because I have a Board of Ed meeting to go to. But we had the federal government trying to go into our schools to deport one of our students, you know. And I think that when something like that happens, San Francisco as a city has to stand up to the feds and say, you know what, you might do that somewhere else in the South, the Midwest, wherever, but not in San Francisco.